Hello, lords and ladies, it is I, Sir Gawain Evermere. What happens when the heroic figure in a story is a coward? When the hero, who's meant to be fearless in the face of danger, monsters, and creatures of the night, instead cowers in fear? It's a rather common trope in media, the cowardly hero, but why? What about this type of character speaks to us so deeply? These characters are often labelled cowards, but through that cowardice, their bravery really shines through, because courage isn't the absence of fear, it's being able to be terrified to your bones and persevering anyway. But not all cowardice is the same. So let's look at two different examples. Gawain from Arthurian legend, specifically the Green Knight tale, and Stark from Frieren Beyond a Journey's End. Let's start with Stark. For those unfamiliar with Frieren, Stark is a young man trained by Eisen, the warrior of the heroes party that defeated the Demon King. Stark is raised idolizing the heroes of the past. He wants nothing more than to be one of them. But deep down, Stark knew he was a coward. He ran when his family was slaughtered by demons, and he truly believes that when the time comes again, he'll run. A phrase Stark often echoes is, "Himmel wouldn't have run." That's the kind of hero Stark wants to be. The kind who stands his ground, but he doesn't think he can. His fear isn't rooted in selfishness. He wants to help people, but the terror he feels when faced with death is overwhelming. He doesn't choose fear. It chooses him. And it takes someone pushing him into the fight to reveal that despite everything, despite the fear, he is brave. Whether it's his fight with the dragon or his stand against demons, Stark is fully prepared to lay down his life if it means protecting another. He has no regard for his own life if he can save another person. If Stark were truly a coward as he claimed, he would have just ran away. He considers himself to be a coward because he doesn't act swiftly. For instance, with the dragon, he could have just snuck away and left it. He wouldn't have stood his ground against it in the first place if he was a coward. And the fact that he was willing to fight the dragon, fully expecting to die, just so he can be killed to keep the villagers safe that believed in him. Or in his fight against the demon, he was fully prepared to die, killing her. If he was truly a coward, as he claimed, he would have just stayed down, or he would have just ran away. Fear might take him, but it doesn't strangle him. And even after fighting, he's still afraid. That fear never truly leaves him. And that's what makes Stark so human, so brave. Because bravery isn't never being scared. Bravery is being scared and fighting anyway. But Stark's cowardice is an instinctual one. A natural fear of pain, suffering, and death. But there's other types of cowardice. Now let's turn the clock back over half a millennium to Sir Gawain and the Green Knight. Now here's the thing. Despite being more confident than Stark, I would argue Gawain is more cowardly of the two. Gawain is a knight of the Round Table, fearless, loyal, and devout, the picture of knighthood, or at least that's the image he projects. One day, a mysterious Green Knight enters King Arthur's hall and offers a strange challenge. Deliver a single blow onto him, and in 1 year's time, the blow will be returned at the Green Chapel. As a reward, the knight will be gifted great honour and chivalry. Arthur rises to accept the challenge, but Gawain interrupts, volunteering himself. He takes the Green Knight's axe, and with one single swing, beheads him. The court falls silent. Then the Green Knight picks up its own severed head, laughing, and rides out of Camelot. Gawain sets out a year later, confident, unlike young Stark, on his journey. He stays with a noble lord, who makes him a simple deal. Whatever you receive during the day, you must return to me at night. Gawain agrees. During his stay, the lord's wife gives him a green sash, a magical item said to protect the wearer from death. For the first time in his quest, Gawain feels fear as he accepts the sash. When asked if he received anything at the end of the day, Gawain lies. And at the Green Chapel, he kneels before the Green Knight, wearing the sash under his clothing, hiding it. The knight raises his axe, and Gawain flinches. The knight stops. You beheaded me without flinching. Why flinch now? The knight raises his axe again, but this time Gawain doesn't flinch. On the third swing, the axe barely nicks his neck. The knight decides to spare Gawain, and then he reveals himself, the lord that Gawain had stayed with. The test wasn't of just courage, but of honour, and Gawain had failed. He confesses to everything. He reveals the sash and begs for forgiveness. But here's why I say Gawain is more cowardly than Stark. Because while Stark's fear is instinctual, he doesn't choose it. Gawain's cowardice comes from his ego, his pride. He volunteered for this challenge. He chose to behead the knight, full well understanding the terms of his deal. He chose to cheat his way out of it with the sash, not because he panicked in the moment, because he couldn't let go of his pride. He wanted to be the ideal knight without facing the hardship and the consequences that comes with. Gawain's cowardice wasn't of spirit, it was of the character. He didn't falter when the blade came down, he faltered when the truth was asked of him. But this doesn't make Gawain a bad man. What makes him truly noble is what he does afterward. He wears the green sash as a permanent reminder of his shame. Outwardly, he doesn't hide it, he wears it as a symbol of his flaw in his honour. Gawain isn't Arthur, he isn't Lancelot, he hesitates. He only took the quest to try proving to himself that he wasn't a coward, and only ended up enforcing that belief. But through acknowledging his failure, Gawain shows the kind of humility that makes him more than just a knight. He becomes a man we can relate to. So why do we admire these characters like Stark or Gawain? They flinch, they falter, they lie, they run. They should be repulsive. I don't think so. Because there's nothing more human than fear. We all want to be King Arthur, we all want to be Himmel, but most of us are Stark or Gawain. Most of us are scared. We try to be brave, but we hesitate, we fail, and that's okay. Characters like Stark and Gawain show that being afraid isn't a sin. You don't have to hate yourself for just being scared, but inaction is a sin. Standing while others suffer is wrong, which I think is the tipping point. If Stark or Gawain didn't act and they let others die or suffer, we wouldn't like them. It's in the fact they try. You just have to try. You just have to take the step forward. Because even if you fail, it's better than not acting. Not every act of courage involves a fire-breathing dragon or an immortal knight. Sometimes it's just getting out of bed, or telling the truth, or facing something unknown in your life, and that's what makes the cowardly hero a real hero. Because only when you're afraid can you truly show the depths of your bravery.